So for some reason, okay, cool. And Zoom is going. We got Grandpa Bill and all the rest. They're in the waiting room. And let me just make sure that we're good. Ah, no, I don't want that. Good day, good day, good day. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining here. We are getting set up, making sure that all the streams are active. And let me verify this time. It wasn't until like a minute or two last week I realized that I didn't click on the Zoom go live for the
You know what?
stream.
For some reason, I can't see you.
You can't?
No.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
Um, 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 yeah, thanks for reminding me
There,
about that.
perfect.
I did yours, but not mine. Okay, cool. And let me verify that we're restreaming over here, and I think we're golden. Oh, that's weird. Restream says I gotta, it's nothing but a green screen. Okay, hold on, guys. Yeah, it's working. Okay, I just had to refresh. So awesome. Cool. All right. All right, guys. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending our weekly coherence meditation. Today is December 10th, 2024. And hold on, I forgot to enable it so that everybody in the waiting room can just join in. So give me just another 30 seconds. We got two more people in there and enable waiting room. Bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. All right, cool. All right, cool. So today, December 10th, 2024. And before we forget, Seth and I were just chatting about this. And just like last year, I'm taking another little trip up to north of Seattle, Washington, see some family for this holiday season. So on December 24th, Tuesday, 2 weeks from now, we are probably 90% sure that we're not going to host a weekly coherence meditation. So we may put that in the reminder for next week's session. So, anyways, glad to have everyone. Thank you for joining. If you are new here, we do hold these coherence meditations every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us right over here at I'mAwakeNowWhat.com. You could also sign up for the newsletter there. Please do that as well. And while you're there too, also grab Seth's free book.
Oh, actually, it's only the PDF now.
Oh, it's only PDF now. Okay. So it's basically purely on Amazon now, right?
Yep, if somebody
Okay.
wants to buy it.
Well, it's still a steal on Amazon. What do you have it like 10 bucks or something over on Amazon?
Yep.
10,
It's the
14, something like
lowest they
that.
would let me do. I don't remember what it is, but yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, you may as well grab the PDF version then. So um,
Thank you.
grab that right over there at I'mAwakeNowWhat.com. So we do restream these weekly to YouTube and Facebook. If you are over there, please do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it over your friends and family. We hold our live over here on Zoom. You can again find that link right over here, I'mAwakeNowWhat.com/calendar, and you can find all the other calendar events as soon as we kind of have some and actually additional ones to put on there. I know that Seth is occasionally on the weekends up in Maine. There, he's got a local EE system. That's what it is. EE system that he holds some events there periodically. So reach out to Seth if you'd like to join him up in his neck of the woods there. If you do join over here on Zoom, doesn't mean you need to share your video or anything. You leave that up to Seth and I and all that other good stuff. So do share this out to others. We encourage everyone to do this as daily practice. And we have a long title here for you today. So last week was reigniting the power of our inner child. And this week we have, okay, take a deep breath. Purging the past by embracing full body coherence and create yourself in the image of what you know is possible for you and this world. So Also, before I forget, I will put that QR code here on the screen. What has helped me, and from what I've heard many others, is that you have maybe some Bluetooth speakers that you put in the background. You just have a YouTube frequency um, audio play right through those speakers. You have that playing in the background. Get some nice frequency hertz music over here. I have a playlist that I've created the past couple of years. Go ahead and click on that QR code right there or bit.ly/CM playlist, and you can play whatever to your heart's content on there. Anyway, let's hand it off to Seth and get this party started. How you doing, Seth?
Awesome. I'm doing great, Greg. Thank you. I didn't realize you had a playlist in that.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's about maybe like 100 videos,
And so what? It's
all
music
different,
or
all different frequencies mostly. You got like
okay.
Tibetan singing bowls there. You got like 432. You know the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
And I saw actually on Facebook you posted last week, I think it was. It had the frequencies and it had what part of the body it actually helps, right?
Yeah, and you know
So
what?
that was
That
kind of
actually comes from Rife technology, William Rife from way back. He's one
gotcha.
of the guys that was like a renegade. He's curing all these incurable diseases and all that stuff with frequencies. And he was really well known. And then unfortunately, I think he got shut down by the FDA.
Oh,
And who else? There was Wilhelm Reich, where I live here in Maine. Wilhelm Reich is one of the most genius inventors in our world. And this was a long time ago. And he was building these things called orgone accumulators. And they're these boxes that you sit in. They're made out of simple materials, but they have a museum where he lives, and he made a big giant room, one accumulator, and then another smaller one in it. And the first time I went in there, I sat down to try to meditate. I was like shaking. I literally like shaking. So I got up, walked outside, came in, tried to do it again, same thing. It's like, so this guy, amazing technology, and all of it was based upon the frequencies that our body needs to heal and to overcome stuff. So
Isn't it
anyway,
amazing? They just want to suppress various technologies that are all natural and, I mean, allow us to heal ourselves, like the tuning forks, is another thing. I mean, they want to suppress all this stuff. They would just want to put pills down our
we
throats,
can make
basically. Big
money.
pharma, leave it up to them, right?
Well, it's interesting you say that because the topic for tonight's meditation, which is essentially, purging and detoxing your past self by embracing a state of heart and brain, whole body, whole soul, or life force. That's what I mean by soul coherence. So when we're in tune with all of that, it's much easier to face the past because when you're sustaining heart coherence and you get good at it, that's what creates resiliency. And the more somebody practices that, the better at it they become. And then when you face that old stuff, it makes it so much more powerful because sometimes when people are facing the past or the traumas or the things that happened a long time ago that many of us try to suppress or not face because it hurts, if we're facing it from a place of resiliency already, we're so much more empowered to be able to do that rather than not. And so, why I said it's interesting is because the model for therapy in this country specifically, where we are, the whole model is you go, you make an appointment with a psychiatrist or a psychologist. There's really hardly any connection. There's not like empathy. It's not like really care, a lot of care. It's made to be like that. And they mostly let the client or the patient do all the talking and they just listen because the idea is to try to get them to listen to their own patterns, which is cool in a way. Like if somebody's in there and they're talking and then they realize like, whoa, okay, I'm doing this. But what happens? is that when people don't realize that, when they don't understand that the healing they're looking for is within them, that's when they prescribe them all kinds of psychiatric drugs. And we know the side effects of those are. And so as a result of that model, and probably since time immemorial, there's always an alternative method by healers, not drug dealers, healers, people that actually want the best for patients and those who want to heal. And the idea is to clean yourself out, just get so deep and in touch with the initial wounding, the trauma, or the series of painful events that happen on and over and over, and to feel that, feel it fully, and make peace with it. And it works. It definitely works, but it doesn't work for everybody because depending on a lot of personal variables, there's a lot of reasons why that might not work. But when you do what we're going to do tonight, which is by getting into coherence and sustaining it, that's when we return to this foundational state inside each one of us where it's like returning to childhood. You're returning back to that place where awe and wonder and the world's mysterious and it's beautiful and it's interesting, the way most of us were before we got traumatized or whatever happened. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be blunt trauma or extreme trauma. It could be just somebody talked down to you enough times and it puts you in this place of being disempowered. So those kind of three approaches are the most prominent models that we're working with today. The second one being where somebody feels the past and digs it up and is present with it so that it can finally leave because they're reconciling with it. So taking that, which is way more effective than the drug dealer psychiatric medicine path, with a bunch of people who don't really have the experience of what they're accredited to counsel with. They haven't been through drug addiction, likely. They haven't been through the emotional things, but they're credited because they went to school for it. But that all that makes it so that it's harder to connect with somebody. Whereas somebody who's been through all this stuff and was able to get through it, those are the types of people that it's easier to connect with, to have empathy for, So we're going to do that tonight. And so let's get going. And wherever you are, just get relaxed. You can be sitting up, laying down. And you know what? It's okay to lay down. And even if you go to sleep, I mean, we want to try to prevent you from going to sleep. But what we encourage is to get your body so relaxed that your body could go to sleep. But you got to remind yourself to keep your mind awake. And it takes practice, but it's worth it because when you get to that point where your body goes to sleep, you keep your mind awake. You literally enter into the zone of the subconscious. And this zone is not some far out, unfamiliar place. We go right past this zone every night. When we lay down, we go to bed, our body goes from beta brainwave states. Then it goes into, well, it starts with beta, alpha, then theta, and delta. And delta is where deep sleep occurs. And so every night we go past those brainwave states. And every morning when we wake up, we also go past them. And what we don't know is that between delta and theta, if we can linger in that place where the body is sleeping, but the mind is awake, it literally opens up a portal into the subconscious. And I'm telling you guys this now because after our time together here is over, I want you guys to set a little reminder so that every night when you go to sleep, or at least definitely in the morning, you can do that. Because at night you need rest. You want to sleep and have energy for the next day. But when you wake up in the morning, don't wake up too quick. Just see if you can be conscious of what it feels like coming out of deep delta sleep and into theta. You know what it's like. We all do that. We go from fully asleep to a slight state of waking. And before we get into a full state of waking up, just get into that slowly. And again, I'm telling you this because I want you to remind yourself to do it. Because when you do that and you get good at doing it, you will literally go into a realm that was always there, but that nobody really taught us how to access. So as you're comfortable, just relax deeper. Just let your body get settled. Try to get as symmetrical as you can. And if it hurts too much to be symmetrical when you're sitting up, then lay down if you can. The most important thing here is to keep your spine as straight as you can, but also to be relaxed because we want to tune in to life force. And life force is invisible energy that we all have that is beyond genius, brilliant. We could call it our soul. And so the life force that is causing all these systems in our body to work. Think about it. You come to terms with how intelligent it is. And there's really no way to come to terms to recognize how intelligent this energy in your body is. The more you ponder it, the more you allow yourself to be in a state of awe of how powerful and intelligent this life force is. But you don't know it. You can't really understand how big and how powerful it is, but it's in that process where you have a quantum leap, an aha moment, because we are this miracle. We all are this innate intelligence that's operating our body, that's causing all of these complex systems to work together. And when we train ourselves to be aware of this, doing this process will fill in the blanks, meaning you know you're aware. You realize that something knows how to operate your body, but somehow it feels like you're disconnected from it or not aware of its potential. And the bridge between not knowing yourself as you truly are and knowing yourself as you truly are is found in the subconscious. And that's why that technique, coming to terms with it as you're waking, when you go into that spot, and all it is a habit. But when you enter the subconscious, it will be the most unfamiliar, familiar feeling you could ever imagine. Because all the information about who you are, about what you are, about how all these elemental building blocks in you support your experience to be present in these bodies, to form thoughts out of nothing, to create an identity that is always fully connected to this potential. It's always connected. And the ability to build this bridge between the subconscious and the conscious, it's already there. You just simply are in the process of realizing it, of remembering it. And I can tell you that from what I've experienced in my life, doing this is priceless. It is the most important relationship that all of us have, but that not very many are aware of. But now we're changing that by doing this work together and by you choosing to practice when we're not together. So you're relaxed, your body's somewhat symmetrical, and bring your attention to your breathing and slow your breathing down 4 seconds on the inhale, 4 seconds on the exhale, and just try to keep that pace rhythmic. You don't have to count every time. It's just lower, deeper than you normally breathe, and rhythmic. And also allow yourself to be aware of the little things, like feeling the air going into your nostrils and coming out of it. You're choosing to tune your awareness into little things like that that you don't normally do. But now you can because you're in a place of calm. So your body's relaxed. Your breathing is calm, deeper, more rhythmic. And then the little inner smile on your face. You can put a big smile on, but it's not necessary. Just a little smile. And automatically, with that smile, your body chemistry changes. And a smile is recognized universally as a language, you could say, that everybody understands. And we all understand it because we all can do it. And because we all know what a smile feels like, it's one of the greatest keys to our developing self-awareness. It's one of the most powerful keys for healing. Because if your body is relaxed, your breathing is rhythmic and a little deeper, and you have that little inner smile on your face. And as soon as you put that smile on, it either feels you're happy or you're uplifted. It doesn't need to feel like anything specific. You just let that smile feel like whatever it feels like. And the sensation of putting that smile on your face and feeling it in your heart can literally inhale and exhale into your heart, almost like your mouth and nose was right in the middle of your chest. You're breathing relaxed, deeper, and that little inner smile. So you're charging your breath with the energy of that feeling. And to be honest, it's this simple, but it requires a commitment. You don't have to make the commitment all at once. But the more you practice just these three things, the more you practice this, and for how surprisingly simple it is, when this state of being becomes your new set point, because you built the habit of being relaxed, of breathing deeper and slower. And with that inner smile, that's immediately changing your entire body chemistry. And with every beat of your heart, that energy is being sent and it is charging every part of your body. And so when you get good at sustaining this, you return to these powerful flow states that we all were in as kids. Our body already remembers what it's like to be uplifted, to feel curiosity with innocence for your own body, for how you perceive the world around you. The memory of that is already in you. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with language or thoughts that are formed out of language. You were in these sustained flow states from the time you were a baby right up to when the first most intense traumatic experience occurred. And of course, that state was still there. It's just that the feeling of the trauma interrupted that coherence. And when it interrupts, we go into a state that we all know of called fight or flight, where we are literally doing that. We're resisting. We try to fight off the thing that's hurting us or stressing us out. And when that happens, either in a very immediate form as trauma, like a car accident, or somebody abusing you, or somebody you love as a child, or even if it's just somebody talking negative to you and it hurt your self-esteem, whatever it was that caused this initial trauma to occur, we go from being in these states of uplifted wonderment, of feeling so good to be alive. And we go from that normal state of being into a state of stress that can keep our body in chaos with itself. And the longer we stay in that chaotic state, the more the health of our body starts to deteriorate, however great or small. But when we tune back in to our primary foundational state of being as a child, innocent, and at the same time empowered by the miracle of the breath that we call life. Just by recreating these simple, sustained states of a relaxed body, awareness of breathing that is slower and deeper, with that little inner smile that you can choose to feel going directly into your heart, or where you normally breathe from your head. And when you get good at either or, can start breathing into both places simultaneously. So as you put this foundational state together, relaxed, breathing, elevated, notice if you can feel your heartbeat. And if you can't feel it, you will. It just might take a little bit of practice. And of course, the stethoscope is an incredible instrument to get in tune with what your heart is communicating to your subconscious and your conscious mind always. It's a perpetual state of communication of all of these super intelligent, beyond genius energy that's causing every organ, gland, and system in your body, whether you're aware of it or not. And by the act of becoming aware of this, that's when the parts of your subconscious come forward to build a bridge between what you are conscious of and what you are not conscious of. And the more that this process is enabled by your choice to sustain these simple foundational exercises, and all of that begins to work together, and you consciously become in tune with this intelligence that you already are, that is always there, but that no one really taught us. how to access it as kids or adults, aside from the random few. So if you can feel your heartbeat, just know that your heartbeat is literally taking the energy of these simple foundational exercises, and it's sending your intention with the realization of how brilliant your life force energy is. And with every beat of your heart, all of this is expanding and contracting as far and wide as we're ready to be aware of. So that means you are not stuck in your body. This life force is animating your body. It's almost like you're an organic antenna. And that through your heartbeat, all the systems of your body and the energy that they communicate with each other from, when you create the space to get into this space, then you are conditioning yourself to rise above the conditions and conditioning of your past based on limitation, fear, abuse. And so now, through this foundational state that you are choosing to sustain, and if you go out of it, that's great. Because now you also know how easy it is to get back into it. So if you're sustaining this foundational flow state, and you're allowing yourself to be aware of how incredibly beautiful, of how incredibly empowering it can be when you tune into this power that is already there, that has always been with you in this life, and that you are choosing to return to and to sustain. And when you're in this state and you get good at sustaining it, just the process of what it feels like for you to be conscious of how amazing it feels to be in a state of internal coherence where all the systems of your body are communicating together freely. And by being aware of this, you are amplifying what your body is currently doing. And the more that you do that, that process begins to purge your awareness or your subconscious awareness of whatever trauma or stressful series of events. When you get in coherence and you stay in it, all of that old stuff naturally starts arising in your awareness. And it does that because the power of connection that is being created within you, because you're choosing to not only create this state, you're choosing to become aware of it as well. And so when you become aware of what allows you to be aware of naturally, you start to become that. And this process of sustained internal coherence as empowerment naturally purges all of these old wounds. And let yourself feel it. Whatever it feels like, to keep your foundational, powerful inner child sustained in communication and in connection with your awareness of it. Thank yourself. Feel gratitude for what your life force is already doing for you. It's closer to us than our own heartbeat. We are at all times in complete connection with this miracle that's causing the heart to beat and allows these complex systems to work together in communication with each other, and that you are aware of this communication, and that you begin to feel reverence for what you are. And through that smile, you can feel any feeling that you want to create from that initial base feeling, happiness or joy, whatever that smile feels like to you is just the beginning. And while all of this is in communication with your subconscious and through your awareness of all of this, this is the most important relationship of everybody's life. And obviously, because without it, we likely wouldn't be here. But that with it, our power comes back. Our resilience comes back. The feeling of feeling respect, gratitude, reverence for all of this beyond genius intelligence to work more harmoniously while you are observing that happening. This is what we all truly are. And when we practice this routinely, it begins to influence who we are. And this is what creates more than just healing. It inspires you. It turns on all of your creative abilities. And in addition to be observing all of this, you're also partaking in it. Because when you sustain these foundational exercises of being relaxed, of breathing gently, of feeling that inner smile on your face, and then the combination of all of that being carried out by your heartbeat as it's charging and amplifying the combinations of all of this working together harmoniously. And instead of just listening to yourself in silence, See if you can feel this silence. Because when you start to feel it, you start to hear it, usually in your ears. As soon as you're able to get silent enough internally. And the ringing, the different frequencies, whatever you are feeling. And then as a result of feeling, you're hearing it. And again, when you become aware of this and you hear crickets or birds or frogs, cicadas, it might sound like none of that or some of it or all of it. And the sound might shift in ways that are beyond what we can imagine, but that we already embody. And these sounds sound the way they are because they are frequency. They are vibratory oscillations of what all of this internal energy is communicating through the process of all of these complex and awe-inspiring functions that you become aware of when you start paying attention to. You get good at feeling it. You get better at listening to it. And then at some point, when you've really steeped yourself into all of this, that allows you the ability to change these frequencies or alter them or turn them up, turn them down. You consciously have the ability to interact with what is already in communication with every system in your body. You truly are the captain of your entire being. And just like when you wake up in the morning and you get out of bed, you're making a choice to do that. And you can also apply the same logic to how you hear, how you perceive, and how you choose to experience this. So before we come out of this, those who want to stay and go deeper can hang up. And for everybody else who's staying here or listening to the replay of this, make a commitment if you feel inspired to choose to become a much greater participant of how you interact with and how you conduct the level of communication that's already happening and that you can be more aware of and a greater participant because we are allowed that. We are co-creators with what we have been created from. And even before we choose to come into a much greater waking state, see if you can slightly memorize what it feels like to have all of these foundational elements of relaxation, gentle breathing, and that inner smile, whatever that feels like to you, and that with the knowledge your heartbeat is charging your awareness of all of this. See if you can memorize what that feeling feels like. Because just as pain and trauma can get stuck in your body without you even being aware of it, the same thing applies to your healing. The energies, the tones, frequencies, all of this is being stored in your body also. And it is at a much greater frequency than your past. The more you sustain this, the more it's going to purge all of that stuff from the past, while at the same time allowing you to become aware of it and to feel all that old stuff as fully as it's able to be felt in you, by you, observing. And when all that stuff comes up, just know that you can feel it and still remain in a consciously coherent state of being. And so feel a little bit more of the air going into your body what it feels like to go out of your body, the muscle memory of what it feels to be relaxed. And that little inner smile, empowered by the child that has always been with you, that we all will always be. And when you're ready, take your hands, start rubbing together, and make it hot. And when your hands are nice and hot, take the palms of your hands, put them over your eyes, and create darkness. And without your eyesight, see if you sense, notice, or actually see color, flashes, vibration between your pituitary gland and your pineal gland, which are right close to each other. You have eyesight, mind sight, heart sight, that when you exercise and get good at turning on, healing becomes the first priority, and your body does it naturally. And you can remind yourself that the more you face whatever it is you face from this place of connection, the better it can get. The more you can heal and evolve. And without even trying to do anything, notice how the people around you, the animals, plants, nature, when you are in these sustained states, notice how everything around you changes. Life will show you where you're at, and your willingness to learn is yours. It's always happening. It's just whether you choose to be learning or not. And please like, love, share, help us get the word out there. And I want to mention too that in the I'm Awake Now What group, there's a member, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's been missing for 7 days. And we want to create healing energy and prayers to help her in her situation. And so if you go to my personal Facebook feed or my group, I'm Awake Now What, she's in that group. So if you feel up to it and you want to help us create energy to help her and her loved ones, that would be great. And Greg, anything else?
No, I'm okay here. Actually, speaking of that pituitary and pineal gland, if everybody recalls, I think the first month and a half or so that we started last year in April, I think maybe go if you want to see a medit or hear a meditation on the pineal gland, and then I think a week later we did the pituitary gland, and we did a couple other things. I think the first like 3 or 4 weeks we did all that. So go back in our archives on the YouTube channel. It's over at the Cosmic Gaia Community channel. I don't know if it's on your Seth Leaf Przansky channel.
Yeah.
So one or the other, but
Yeah, we did. It's funny, we're coming full circle or full
Yeah,
spiral.
it is. It is. And on that, actually, so yeah, I played 432 hertz on my playlist right there, and I
Oh,
was pretty deep on that. So having that frequency in the background feels nice. So
yeah.
thank you very much. Great session.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming and being a part of this with us. And we're just going to keep going.
Absolutely. Guys, have a great rest of your week as usual, and we will see you next week, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Take care, guys. Love you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.